Well, I want to give you another reason why health insurance is so high and why the medical system is actually just falling apart at the seams, except for some people who are actually on the side where the money's coming in. Now, I know a lot of people are on the regular people. Now, they realize doctors do make some pretty good money, and some people realize they have a lot of work to do too, and they have a very important function. But I also want to call attention to some other problem that is out there that a lot of people do not realize exists. I know in the alternative, with quote unquote medical field, a lot of times they'll think that, well, we can get away with just using nature. That's fine too. I mean, I'm not. This is not a subject that's going to delve into any using nature to heal or anything like that. What I'm going to tell you about is strictly about billing. Billing. Most patients, when they go see a doctor, they have insurance, and they do not actually look at the bill unless it's something they actually have to pay out of pocket. They do not understand the medical codes. There is a lot of billings going on that are basically fraudulent. And how do I know this? Because I had a member in my family, have a member of my family who used to investigate doctors for many years. They had a lot of medical experience before being an investigator of doctors for a major insurance company, and they used to take even the work home with them with their investigations and look into the details that other people that were investigating doctors from the insurance companies didn't even bother doing. Some of the common misbillings that are going on is, well, for one, like you might have an initial visit to the doctor. That's like a more expensive visit because you got to spend more time with the patient. But after you do that initial visit, you do not bill for an initial visit every time the patient comes to see you. He's all going to see you again in 6 months. They do this often. They often bill them for things they never had. Um, there's a lot of upcoding going on. And even the people that work for the insurance companies that are tasked with investigating what goes on for the billing, they just have a job. It's like they're working for the government, and it's not like their money. So if they don't find something, and the doctors all know how to hide things, it's like how do you really associate, um, what was really done with the patient, unless the patient complains to this insurance company and says, "I did not have this done, and my insurance didn't pay for this." Most of them people won't do that as long as they don't have to pay out of pocket. This is a major, major, major problem why insurance is so high and why the medical system has gotten out of hand. Not all doctors, but a lot of doctors are doing this. They're, and when there's a code, there could be a code for something that's the same procedure, like I mentioned with the office visit. Like the initial office visit is a more expensive code than a repeat visit because the initial office visit you have to spend more time with the patient, or maybe you can call the person on the phone or something, and there could be a code right there. It could be a 1 minute conversation. Well, it could be, oh, okay, I'm going to bill the insurance company $150 for that or whatever. Fine. They do this all the time in the hospitals. They come in and say hi to the patients. Hello, how are you? Doing fine. Okay. I consulted with the patient. There's a code. Boom, boom. And the insurance companies, yes, they do have people that are tasked with investigating this type of stuff, but for the largely, it's almost like the government investigating itself in a way, because when you're just working for, if it's your insurance company, when the company gets too big, it becomes like you have employees that don't care. I mean, if you have a smaller company, say it's a two partnership or whatever it is, and you have 3 employees working for you, maybe those 3 employees you're going to make sure they're going to find out what's going on with the billings. Why are we having to reimburse this? Why do we have to reimburse this? And this is what's actually going on with the cost of insurance and the cost of healthcare in general. Doctors are upcoding a lot of the billings. They're actually putting down codes for things that they never did. They're also putting down There's also doctors are not supposed to bill for family, and that includes cousins. There's a lot of that going on too. Um, you probably you also see this even with the ambulance systems and stuff. I mean, somebody could have drove a person to one place to another, and the ambulance wasn't involved. They'll say an ambulance was involved because somebody called for the ambulance, but they canceled it, and they'll still bill for it. That all goes on the health insurance. But nobody complains when they have health insurance and health insurance is paying for it. But it's not even just that. People do not understand these codes. They do not understand what these medical codes are for. And the doctors are very, very, very good at hiding what's really going on. So even the investigators for the insurance companies will not find what's going on for the most part. Even the ones that do extra work and they look into details and they gotta, you know, let's say what code is this and what you have to maybe look at other records for billing hours, and there might be unannounced visits to the doctors. But there's only so much manpower that's out there that you can even investigate these doctors for misbilling, miscoding, upcoding. Upcoding is common. Upcoding is more common than just putting down codes for that you didn't do, but there's both going on all the time. Upcoding is all over the place, and it's like the insurance companies don't have the manpower to do it, and then the people that are even there that are tasked with doing this job, for the most part, it's almost like to work for a big insurance company. It's like working for a big government, big corporation. Well, it is big corporation. They think, oh, I got a job. Fine, fine. That's all it is. They got a job. If they don't find something, they don't find something. Fine. They find something here and there, and the doctors know it's well worth it. And then if there's they get caught doing something, they say, oh, it was an administrative mistake. It was an administrative mistake. Sorry. Nothing happens. I mean, some kid goes into a store and steals a candy bar. They go to detention center at least. The cops don't come in there, and arrest them or something. But if it's a professional doing it, it's no problem. They talk cute. They say, "Oh, it was an administrative mistake. Sorry. Oh, the one I had working for me at that time, she must have made an error. I was having trouble training her, so that was the problem. I told her to do that, so I got rid of her. So that's why there were some mistakes, and the problem should be alleviated. It's very difficult to get help, especially at minimum wage when you work for a doctor, right? So you know how they are, pretty cheap. So the thing is, what's going on too is with you call it the Affordable Health Care Act. That actually is a bailout for the insurance company. So Mr. Proctologist Obama is going to stick it right up your butt with a needle right here. That's what's going on. And that before it was Obamacare, it used to be called Hillary Care with co-president Hillary Clinton back in the 90s when she tried to push it through. So Obama got it through, and that is basically forced sale of insurance to everybody. If you don't buy it, you have to pay a fee, which is unconstitutional to the max. But since Justice Scalia has died, I guess that's not going to be unconstitutional anymore. There you go, right? But the doctors always act cute. They always act friendly. I don't really like a lot of them, to tell you the truth. I mean, I don't want to knock all of them, because if you have a broken bone or you're in an auto accident and you have multiple injuries, the medical system in the United States is stellar for that type of stuff. No doubt about it. They could put you back together with pins and stainless titanium rivets or whatever they got to do to get your bones back together for traumatic injuries. But if you have, as far as just life in general, staying healthy, preventive medicine, they can't bill too much for that. That's when they don't have too much incentive to go along with that. But my point on this video is there is a lot of upcoding and total fraudulent billing going on in the healthcare system by the doctors. That's why your health insurance is so high. Yes, people will not necessarily look at their bill as long as they don't have to pay. They say, well, the insurance companies pay for it. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't know what this stuff is. But if they had to pay for it, they would undoubtedly be looking at every one of those codes in detail, and they'd be questioning everything. But be that as it may, most people just don't understand that. And like I said again, the investigators, I'll say it again, even the investigators in the insurance companies, which had a family member did that for 10 years, after being in the medical field for decades, they knew their stuff. So they only hire people who would be investigators in insurance companies that are extremely well qualified in medical. Um, a lot was uncovered, and nothing happens to them when it's uncovered. They just say it's an administrative error. And for the most part, a lot of the investigators, if you are working, if you know, you've been in that area, a lot of the investigators are not actually doing their job well. So you can imagine what it's going to be like when Obamacare really clicks in. We have government oversight, because if the profit motivated insurance companies can't even find all the fraudulent billing and the upcoding on the billing, you know what's going to happen with Obamacare. It's going to be all hookups left and right. It's communist care. That's really what it is, and it's unconstitutional as anything, because it's not a tax. It's forced. It's forcing somebody to buy something. It's it's telling somebody, you buy health insurance or else we're going to fine you due to the social cost or whatever they're going to talking about. But obviously the problem is the social costs are very high due to fraudulent billing and upcoding on the billing. It's an area that many people have not discussed. I don't think anybody's discussed it on the internet. I don't know if anybody has. I've known about this for many years. I've known about it. Not that I worked as an investigator for um, the health insurance company, but my family member has for over 10 years and had decades of experience before working for an insurance company in the medical field, and with degrees in medicine, and also even working in intensive care. Um, that they understood all the codes very well, and they knew what to look for. And most of the investigators in the insurance companies aren't looking that hard because it's just a job. So the doctors are raking in like crazy. Some people bitch about, the pharmaceuticals not actually helping as much as, say, nature. There's an argument between healing with nature and healing with pharmaceuticals, and pharmaceuticals actually usually are derived from nature. But this is a separate argument altogether. Doctors are constantly billing for things they never did and constantly upcoding. Upcoding is very prevalent, and they're constantly billing to family members who are hooking them up for procedures they never did. They're not supposed to be Doctors are not supposed to be um, dealing with family members. But then you got to find if that's a family member. You're not supposed to be dealing with cousins. They got different last names. How are you going to know who they are? How are you going to know? How's the investigator going to know? How are they going to know? So now you know why the whole racket is going to fall apart, and it's just not a matter of some people being against pharmaceuticals, and pharmaceuticals aren't necessarily the best route to take. I know there's an argument about that. The whole system is rotted right through to the core. It's almost like the insurance companies have created, by becoming so big, they've gotten to the point where they are not profitable anymore because they do not have the means to even investigate all the medical billings that they're reimbursing. If that was all taken care of, that alone would bring down the cost of health insurance. And I can guarantee you, when you have government oversight, it's going to get that much worse than even big corporations trying to manage this. So, just want to bring out this other point because a lot of people have not seen this angle or know this angle. When people get a bill in from the health insurance company and it's paid for by the health insurance company, even if they understood the bill, they're not going to say anything because it's not their money. But it's all coming out of the system. And these extra billings are just killing everything. It's beyond belief. It's not just a little problem. It's a totally ignored problem, and that's why I'm putting this word out right now. I don't know exactly what the hell to do for it, but I can tell you one thing: Obamacare and government oversight is not the answer, because even the corporations that are getting ripped off, the health insurance companies that are actually paying out these extra money to these doctors for upcoding and extra billings that they shouldn't be doing, that they didn't do. Even the profit motivated healthcare companies cannot even catch what's going on. They only catch a fraction of what's going on. Now, if you have this all in charge by the government, you already know what's going to happen there. They're not going to catch any of it. Period. That's just how it's going to be. So, um, probably needs to go back to I don't know, medicine man, like the Indians had. I don't know what, but something. It's probably just needs to, smaller companies that have more motivation and more dedication by the people and the owners to catch all the fraudulent billings that are out there. There's loads of fraudulent billing. It's beyond belief. So I don't know exactly what to do with this problem, but I can tell you it is a major, major, major problem. And it's not going away, and it's going to get a lot worse with Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Act. It's going to get much worse with that.